The Shortwave Show,
in color,
starring the Naked Gun film series, Police Squad TV show you probably didn't know existed. Whoever this guy is. Tonight's special guest star, Mr. Beast. Tonight's episode, determining how these movies compare to each other. I had arrived home from the bank after receiving a $10 million withdrawal in cash. I sped through the streets on my way home so I could record this video as soon as possible and avoid getting stuck in traffic, as I heard the sirens of what I assume were ambulances or fire trucks or something like that. However, once I arrived home, I found myself caught reading a news article about what seemed to be a bank robbery downtown that had just occurred recently. Anywho, I did finally decide to lock in and make this video. You've read the title, so let's just get straight to the point. This is just my opinion, by the way. Coming in at number 5,555 and a fifth is The Naked Gun 33 and a third, The Final Insult. And overall, this is a great franchise. There's not like a bad movie in here, but this is the one that easily comes in last place for a variety of different reasons. Now, it did have a different director from the first two movies in the franchise, so that might have contributed to this feeling a little bit different. But I think really in the first act, there's some issues where Frank's retired, obviously. And I get where they were going with that, but I don't actually find it too interesting. And I could see it if they had him immediately unretire, which he does pretty quickly in the movie. But I'm just talking like one person says one thing to him that just immediately makes him unretire. Something about the execution there just didn't really hit the mark for me. Also, in the first act, there's just a lot of the same joke where his wife is trying to be rizzy with him, and it's not really that funny. But once you do kind of jump into the main plot, it's still very funny.
Look at this logically. You're the psychotic, you should have the envelope. I should have the gun.
All right.
There's a lot of great stuff to appreciate, a lot of great individual moments, but just the plot as a whole isn't the best. It's kind of all over the place where these characters are in these different locations doing these different things, which I mean normally that's kind of how movies work. It's just not done the best, and I also think this has the least memorable villains in the whole franchise. But at the end of the day, who am I kidding? This is a very entertaining film, and it's impossible to analyze movies as dumb as these. Coming in at number 444 and a fourth is the newest one, The Naked Gun 2025. Now, a lot of people thought this was going to be a remake of the original film. That's not at all what this is. It's a legacy sequel, and possibly the best legacy sequel of all time. This might even be my favorite movie of the year. It's a shame I have to put it this low, but it's such a good franchise when you're comparing these movies with each other. I just like how even though this is a modern movie in the franchise, it still has the charm of the other films, where it's doing the goofy wordplay, the outlandish, unexpected humor, and there's references and different details that honor the previous films, but it's still being its own thing, and Liam Neeson is perfect in the role as Frank Drebin Jr.
I want to be just like you, but at the same time, be completely different and original.
Although if this takes place in the modern day, and the older films took place in their modern day, Frank Drebin would have been born in 1993, meaning he should only be in his early 30s here. I feel like we deserve an explanation. Anyways though, the new characters are all great and quirky, and this might have the best villain plot where these evil guys are trying to turn human brains into animal brains or whatever. It's just a very impressive movie because it doesn't feel like it was made today. It feels like it actually has heart. Coming in at number 33 and a third is The Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear. This is a great movie sequel that just kind of ups the antics in terms of the action and the sets. There's clearly a bigger budget. There's a lot of fun random stuff like zoo animals escaping, some of the dumbest fight scenes of all time, and this plot that revolves around Vernon Dursley being in a wheelchair where he has to give this super important speech, but these villains kidnap him, replace him with an imposter. So the good guys have to set things right, and Vernon Dursley is triumphant in delivering his speech. Everyone just kind of falls asleep. But also the final battle and everything with this bomb about to go off is super intense and crazy.
Let's get out of here!
And anyways, throughout the movie, it's very funny. I will say some of the humor here might be a little bit more dated, but for the most part, it's pretty much in line with the other films in the franchise. And you gotta appreciate the forced love story here, which is actually really just a parody of how every single movie has a forced love story. And I mean, there's a forced love story in all of these movies, so I don't know why I specifically said it on this one. Coming in at number 2.5 is The Naked Gun from the Files of Police Squad, the original movie that brought Frank Drebin to the big screen. Just all around, this is one of the great classic films of all time. And had it not been for this movie, people probably would have had no clue what this franchise was. Wait a minute, well, I mean, yeah. I think a lot of the humor here was just fresh and it's aged very well.
Is this an official bat?
And this probably has the most memorable plot where Frank is trying to stop these hooligans from assassinating Queen Elizabeth. And somehow everything wraps up with a final battle in a baseball stadium and it works. I feel like there's more stuff I should say, but what can I say that hasn't already been said? This movie is a masterpiece.
Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
But coming in at number 1 is the Police Squad 1982 TV series that started it all. Even though The Naked Gun made Frank Drebin popular, this made Frank Drebin an existing character. And if you don't know what this is, it's a TV series from 1982. I just overall think when it comes to this franchise, while the movies are great, this type of humor fits better into episodes since you're not really invested in the story. It's just kind of a parody of crime shows. And this is not a criticism of the movies or anything like that, but a lot of the jokes from them were actually just recycled from the series. And there's also some great running gags throughout the episodes. I would even say this show foreshadowed modern day brain rot.
Wasn't that the guy that was convicted of bombing about 6 or 7 years ago?
I don't think I can take 67 more of those.
It's just tragic that they only aired like 6 or 7 episodes of this series before it was canceled, and ABC canceled it because they thought it required viewers to pay close attention to the show in order to understand the humor. So they literally canceled it because they were like, yeah, we can't depend on the audience actually watching the show and paying attention. Somewhere in an alternate universe, there's multiple seasons of this show. It's so good. It might be my favorite TV show of all time, despite only being 6 episodes. But overall, that was my ranking of the Naked Gun / Police Squad franchise. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know how you'd rank these in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys.